The Pittsburgh Playhouse is made up of 3 separate buildings that have kind of been connected over the years. It was a house on the corner of Craft Avenue and Hamlet Street, and eventually it became the offices for the theaters. We are about to enter the Rockwell Theatre, named for its founders, Richard S. Rowell and his wife, Helen Wayne Rowell. She was a local celebrity on the Pittsburgh stage. And this was dedicated by one of Point Park's board members, Richard E. Rowell, their son. This was a German social club. It seats 250. It was never meant to be a theater, but throughout the years, since 1934, we have been using it as such. This was the first piece of property bought by the Rowells. Then the house, the third property that was bought, was the Tree of Life Synagogue. We are now entering the Rockwell Theatre. It's the biggest theater in the complex. It seats 450, and it was originally a Jewish synagogue. It was the Tree of Life Synagogue. It was erected in 1906. This theater is haunted by our benevolent ghost, John Johns. He was actually an actor in the 50s. He had a heart attack on stage and was taken back to the dressing rooms where he passed away. And it is said that on non-performance nights, we can see him in his tuxedo sitting in different places in the house clapping for the actors on stage. He's a nice ghost. We are right under the Rockwell Theatre, the apron of the Rockwell Theatre. These 5 pillars, these 5 brick pillars, are not original to the building. So in the 70s they were doing a show, but it called for a swimming pool on stage. They took out the orchestra pit and they lined it and filled it with water, and the TD came down through here and realized we were sinking the building. So that's how these pillars came into existence. This is the loft. I think the most haunted place in the Playhouse, but huge costume storage area. You can see it goes back for rows and rows and rows, double hung on either side. So this is just a drop in the bucket, believe it or not, of the inventory that we have. And we do costume most of the high schools around here. We do a lot in rentals, but a lot of our costumes are seen on stages all over the place. This is the Playhouse prop shop where a lot of the magic happens. We store a lot of our things that we use, hand props and small props, in this area. There's a lot of storage space in the Playhouse. A lot of this stuff has already been purged. It's balancing too, budgetarily, when we throw this stuff away. If we don't have it in stock, we're going to have to buy it new. This is the Lillian Russell room. It's used as a classroom, a rehearsal room for the school, for the theater. It's in the basement of the Playhouse. But it used to be part of the Playhouse restaurant. It was a big operation, and it was quite swanky. People really wanted to be here. This was part of the original sign that said Playhouse Restaurant. This was the main section of the kitchen. The sinks were here. The hood is still there for the grills. When I was a student here, all these sinks were still here. All the dishes were still here. It literally looked like they got up and walked away. Here's our body parts section. Here is our Playhouse years in vacuum cleaners. This is one of my favorite places in the restaurant. Gives you an idea of just how old the building is. So the restaurant had its own potato cellar. It was a big operation. And we call this now the electronics room. We have something from every decade, from typewriters from the 30s. Our team is really adept at taking like old cameras, gutting them, and making them work again for the stage. This was the synagogue, and you can see all the windows. We don't know if the windows are still under there. We boarded them up because light is the enemy of theater. This is an older picture from like the 40s of the Rockwell. This was probably from the cars, probably 40s. This was the outside of the Pittsburgh Playhouse. This was the restaurant where we were. These are those gold leaf walls where the benches were. There's some of that original carpeting where it had seen better days. The Playhouse, when they had just bought the house and turned it into the offices. And then that's another picture of the